Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you. First of all, thank you so much for taking your time and joining today's live session. My name is Prabhakar and I am from CP Academy. Today we are going to talk about something very important. The topic of today's webinar is Python to job ready developer. Okay, now before we start, I want to make one thing very clear. Today's session is not going to be a complicated coding class. You do not need to know Python, you do not need to have an IT background, you don't need to be a computer science student. Even if you are a complete beginner, you will be able to understand today's session. The purpose of this today's webinar is very simple. By end of the session, I want you to have a clear understanding of what Python actually is, why people learn Python, what a software developer actually does, what you should learn after Python, why just learning a programming language may not be enough, and how you can create a proper roadmap for yourself. So please don't worry if you are completely new to this technology. I'll explain everything from the beginning and in a very simple language. And I also want the session to be interactive. So whenever I ask you a question, feel free to answer in the chat. Let's make this a proper learning session. Alright, let's begin. Before we move forward, I want to know a little about the people who joined this session today. In the chat, please type one of this. Type student if you are currently studying, type fresher if you are looking for your first job, or type working if you are currently working, or switch if you are planning to move into IT or any software field. Just type one word in the chat. I'll give you a few seconds. That's great. Good response. It's really good to see people from different backgrounds joining today's webinar. And this is exactly why I wanted to conduct this session, because many people want to enter the software industry, but they have one major problem. They don't know exactly where to start. Today, learning resources are everywhere. YouTube has thousands of videos. There are few courses, paid courses, AI tools, blogs, documentation, and so much information is available online. So today, the problem is not I cannot find something to learn. The real problem is I don't know what I should learn first. For example, someone decides I want to become a software developer. Then they search online. Immediately they see Python, Java, JavaScript, DSA, React, SQL, GitHub, APIs, cloud, everything. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, and suddenly they become confused. They start one topic, then stop. They watch another video. They start another course. They see some other saying that learn DSA. Someone else says that build projects. Someone else says learn AI. And finally, after spending weeks or months, they are still confused. Does this sound familiar? Maybe some of you have already experienced this. You start learning something, but after a few days, you started asking yourself, what should I learn next? If you have ever felt confused about your learning roadmap, type yes in the chat. Just type yes or no. Okay. Now let's start with a very basic question. What exactly is Python? Some people hear the word Python and immediately think about coding, and they think Python must be something very difficult. But let's simplify it. Python is a programming language. Now, again, some people may ask, what is programming language? Let me explain this with a simple example. Imagine that you want to communicate with another person. You use a language, maybe English, Telugu, or Hindi, something. Language helps you to communicate. Okay, in the same way, computers need instructions. A computer does not automatically understand what you want. You need to tell the computer what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. A programming language helps us give instructions to a computer. Python is one of those programming languages. For example, imagine you have an application like Swiggy, Amazon, Instagram, a bank application, or an attendance application. All these applications need instructions. For example, when a user logs in, what should happen? When someone places an order, what should happen? How should information be stored? How should data be displayed? All of these things are handled through a software. And a programming languages help developers to build this kind of softwares. Okay, Python is a popular because its syntax it's is relatively easy to read and understand compared with many other programming languages. But I want you to remember one important thing. Learning Python syntax alone does not automatically make someone a software developer. And this is where many beginners make a mistake. Okay, so let me explain something important. Suppose you learn variables, conditions, loops, functions, list, dictionaries, classes. That's great. You have learned Python concepts. But then what? Can you solve a new problem? Can you understand a requirement? Can you break a big problem into smaller tasks? Can you build a small application? Can you find the and fix an error? Can you explain your project? These are also important skills. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine someone teaches you how to use a hammer or a screwdriver or a drill machine. You know the names of all the tools. But if someone asks you to now build a table, knowing the tools alone is not enough. You also need to understand what need to be built, what materials are required, what should be done first, what should be done next, and how all these pieces should come together. Programming is similar. Learning Python gives you a tools, but problem solving teaches you how to use those tools. And projects help you bring those skills together. This is why we should not focus only on what programming language should I learn. We should ask, how can I develop the ability to solve a problem? Okay, on the screen, you may see that learning Python is different from becoming a job ready. Okay, when it's a learning something, you learn syntax, concepts, and functions. That's okay, fine. But when you become a job ready, you can think, analyze, and solve problems. You can observe the table here. You write small programs. When it come to the right side, you build projects and applications. Okay, just observe this table. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds. Just observe the table. Okay, I'm moving. See, now I want to show you something interesting. Let's imagine that someone ask us to build a simple application. Let's say a student management system. Now, if you are a complete beginner, you may think, okay, where is the code? But a developer should not immediately start writing code. The first step is to understand the requirement. So let's ask, what should this student management system do? Maybe we need to add a student, view students, search for a student, update student information, delete a student. Now look at what happened. We started with one big idea, building a student management system. Okay, but we broke it into smaller features. This is how we start reducing complexity. Instead of thinking, oh my god, I need to build an entire application, we think, okay, what is the first small thing that I can build? Maybe first adding a student, then view students, then search, then improve it step by step. This is very important way of thinking. A large problem can often become easier when we break it into a smaller problems. Okay, and this is where programming logic and problem solving becomes important. Okay, you can see the developer mindset on the screen. Understanding, breakdown, plan, build, test, and improve. These are the different phases in a problem or in a project, whatever. Now, I'm not going to turn this webinar into a full coding class, but I want to show you a very small example. The purpose is not for you to memorize this code, okay? The purpose is to show you how an idea becomes a small piece of a software. Okay, yeah, on the screen you can see students equal to two square brackets. Okay, in this here empty list. Okay, and then input and then name students dot append of name and printing students. Let's understand this in a very simple language. First, we create a place where we can store the student information. Okay, it's nothing but students equal to square brackets. Then we ask the user what is the student name. The user enters a name, then we add the name to our students list. And finally, we display the information. That's it. The code itself is not the important part right now. The important thing is the process. We started with an idea, then we identified a small feature, then we created a simple solution, and then we can improve it. This is how applications grow, one small feature at a time. A real software project can be much bigger and more complex, but the basic mindset is similar. Understand what needs to be done, break it into smaller tasks, build and then test and find problems and later improve it. That's it. Okay. Now let's come to the most important part. What should you learn after starting Python? It's nothing but a Python roadmap. I want to make this very clear. You do not need to learn everything at the same time. Learning should happen step by step. The first step is Python fundamentals. This means understanding the basics properly. Things like variables, conditions, loops, functions, data structures, and object oriented programming. But don't rush. Strong basics are important. After that, focus on logic and problem solving. Instead of only copying code from somewhere, try to understand what is the problem, what information do I have, what result do I need, what small steps can I follow. Then comes practical application. Okay, projects. Building project. Projects help you connect different concepts together. After that, you can gradually learn topics like data structures and algorithms, Git and GitHub, databases, SQL, APIs, and other skills depending on the direction you want to take. The important point is don't learn everything randomly. Follow a structured path. Fundamentals, logic and problem solving, building projects, data structures and algorithms, Git and GitHub, APIs, databases, career prep. At the final, that is the final step. Okay, don't learn everything randomly. Follow this structured path based on your goals. Next, you may have heard words like Git, GitHub, database, API, and maybe these words sounds very technical. It sounds very technical, but let's simplify them. First, what is database? Imagine a large digital storage system, a place where information can be stored and managed. For example, a company may need to store customer information, product information, orders, employee information, student information. A database helps applications store and manage this data. Now let's talk about APIs. API stands for Application Programming Interface. But don't worry about remembering that full form right now. Just forget about it. Let's understand it with a simple example. Imagine you are sitting in a restaurant. You don't directly go to the kitchen and prepare your food. You tell the waiter what you want. The waiter takes your request to the kitchen, and the kitchen prepares the food, and the waiter brings the result back to you. In a simplified way, an API can act like a connection between different software systems. One system requests something, another system processes that request, and then response is returned. Okay. Now Git and GitHub. Imagine you are working on a document. Today you make some changes. Tomorrow you make more changes. Then suddenly you realize, oh no, I made a mistake. I want that previous version. Version control tools helps developers track and manage changes in their code. Got it? Git is used for version control. GitHub is a platform where code repositories can be stored and shared, often used for collaboration and showcasing projects. Again, don't worry if these concepts feel new. The goal is to not to understand everything today. The goal is to understand where these things fit into your learning journey. What do companies generally look for? Okay. The most important part. Let's talk about jobs. Many people ask, what do companies expect from a fresher? There is no single answer for every company that and every role. Different companies have different requirements. But generally, if you want to prepare for a software role, it is useful to develop such skills such as strong fundamentals, problem solving ability, the ability to learn, the ability to understand requirements, basic knowledge of relevant tools, the ability to communicate what you have built, and practical projects that demonstrate your learning. And one more important point is, don't focus only on collecting certificates. Certificates can show that you completed something, but you should also focus on what can I actually understand, what can I build, what problems can I solve, can I explain my project, can I demonstrate my skills. This is where your confidence starts to grow. Got it? I hope everything is going well, right? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your responses. It's a very okay. And the next one is, so far we have discussed what Python is, why programming is more than memorizing syntax, how developers approach problems, what you can learn after Python, why projects are important, and how you can think about building a structured learning path. Now, understanding a roadmap is one thing, following it consistently is another thing. Many people know what they should do, but they struggle with questions like what what should I learn today? Am I learning in the right order? How do I practice? What project should I build? What should I do when I get stuck? How do I stay consistent? And this is where structured learning and guidance can be helpful. This is one of the reasons we created the CP Academy Python Job Ready program. And the CP Academy Python Job Ready program is structured for 90 days. 90 days learning program. The program is designed to take learners step by step through the learning journey. We start with the Python fundamentals and then move towards logic building and problem solving. Students get coding practice and assignments. We cover important concepts such as object oriented programming. Students also work towards data structures and algorithms. Along the way, there is a focus on practical projects. Students also get exposure to tools and concepts such as Git, GitHub, APIs, databases, and SQL as a part of their learning journey. The program is also includes live interactive sessions. Okay, recorded sessions, access, assignments and coding practice, doubt support, practical projects, resume guidance, GitHub guidance, and preparation support. We also plan mentor sessions where experienced professionals can share practical industry insights and career guidance. Okay, the complete program duration is 90 days. Okay, but I want to make one thing clear, you do not have to make a decision immediately. Today's webinar was conducted to help you get clarity. If you feel I want to learn in a structured way, I need a guidance, I want to practice consistently, I want to build my skills step by step, then this program may be suitable for you. You can go through the complete program details and then decide whether it is right for your goals. There is absolutely no need to make a rushed decision. The important thing is to choose a learning path that you can follow consistently. Now, I would like to open the session for the questions. You can ask questions related to Python, software development, career switching, projects, programming, data structures and algorithms, learning roadmap, or starting a career in technology. Please put your questions in the chat. I'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Okay? Please put your questions in the chat. I got a question. I am from a non-IT background. Can I learn Python? Yes, absolutely. Your background does not stop you from learning programming. In the beginning, you may find some concept new because programming requires a different way of thinking. But if you start from the basics and practice regularly, you can learn step by step. The important thing is not to rush. Okay. Okay, next question. How much time will it take to learn Python? It actually depends on how consistently you learn and practice. You can understand the basics within a few weeks, but becoming comfortable with the programming takes more practice. I would suggest not focusing too much on finishing Python quickly. Focus on understanding the concepts and applying them. Okay, Rajesh? Okay, the next question is from Akhil. Can I get a job just by learning Python? Learning Python is a good starting point, but usually Python alone is not the complete journey. You should ask, you should also work on problem solving projects, database tools, and other skills depending on the role you are preparing for. That's why having a proper roadmap is much and more important. Okay, Akhil? Okay, okay, thank you. Come on, any next questions? Okay, Srija. I already started a question from Srija. I already started learning Python from YouTube. Should I continue? Yes, definitely. YouTube can be a very useful learning resource. The important question is whether you have a proper structure. If you know what you are learning, why you are learning it, and what you should learn next, then you can continue. Try to avoid jumping randomly from that one topic to another. Okay, then it's perfect. Okay, the next question from Meghna. I'm not good at mathematics. Can I become a programmer? Yes. For many software developers roles, you do not need to be an expert in mathematics. Programming is more about understanding problems, thinking logically, and practicing regularly. Some fields may require stronger mathematics, but you should not avoid programming just because you think you are weak in maths. Okay, I hope you got my point. The next question from what's the name? Ravikant. What should I learn after completing Python basics? After the basics, I would suggest focusing on logic building and problem solving first. At the same time, start building small projects, then you can gradually move into your topics such as data structures and algorithms, database, GitHub, and other technologies based on your career decision direction. Okay. And the next question is okay, Ramesh is asking that I understand the concepts, but I cannot write code on my own. What should I do? This is actually a very common problem, especially for beginners. Try not to immediately look for the answer. First, understand the problem and break it into smaller steps. Even if your first solution is not perfect, try write something. The ability to write code independently improves through practice, not just by watching more tutorials. Okay, Ganesh is asking that how many projects should I build? There is no magic number. Instead of trying to build 10 copied projects, focusing on building a few projects that you genuinely understand. Start with the small projects, then gradually build more complex ones. You should be able to explain what the project does and how you build it and the problems you faced. Okay, Akhil is asking again a question. I'm working professional. Can I learn this while doing my job? Yes, you can. You don't necessarily need to study for 8 hours every day. Even one or two focused hours consistently can make a difference over time. The key is to create a realistic schedule that you can actually follow without burning yourself out. Okay. Okay. Divya is asking, there are so many technologies. How do I know what I should learn? It's a good question. Uh, and this is exactly where many beginners get confused. First, don't try to learn everything. Start with one foundation, such as Python. Build your programming and problem solving skills, and then choose your next technologies based on the career path that you want to follow. A clear direction is more important than trying to learn everything at once. Still, is there any questions? I hope these answers gave you a little more clarity. And remember, you don't need to know everything before you start. Start with the basics, practice consistently, and move forward step by step. Alright, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. I hope today's session gave you more clarity about the journey from learning Python to developing practical software skills. If there is one thing I want to remember from today's session is if it is this, don't try to learn everything at once. Don't get distracted by every new technology you see online. Start with the fundamentals, build your understanding, practice consistently, learn how to solve problems, build projects, and improve step by step. You do not have to become an expert in one day. Every developer starts as a beginner. The most important thing is to start with the right direction and stay consistent. Thank you once again for joining the session. I really appreciate your time. This is Prabhakar from CP Academy. Keep learning, keep building, and keep improving. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.